The throne room stretched before Jiho, like a cathedral of nightmares. His wrists burned where the energy chains bit into his skin. Two Valdari guards dragged him forward across polished black stone that reflected the cold blue lights overhead. Each step echoed in the massive chamber. Princess Ara sat on her throne at the far end. Even from a distance, Jiho could see the hatred in her violet eyes. She wore armor that gleamed like fresh blood under the lights. Her silver hair fell past her shoulders in a way that would have been beautiful if not for the cruel set of her jaw. The guards threw Jiho to his knees. His head cracked against the stone floor. Blood trickled from his split lip. "The human terrorist, Your Highness," one guard announced. His voice carried the clicking accent of the Valdari language translated through Jiho's earpiece. Ara rose from her throne. She moved down the steps with the grace of a predator. Behind her, a tall Valdari male in military dress followed. This was Commander Taman. Jiho had heard of him. They said he had personally overseen the destruction of 12 human colonies. "Jiho of Earth," Ara said. Her voice was cold and sharp. "Do you know how many Valdari you have killed?" Jiho lifted his head. He met her eyes. "Do you know how many humans you've killed?" The slap came fast. Ara's hand connected with his face hard enough to make his ears ring. She grabbed his chin and forced him to look at her. "You attacked our supply depot. You murdered 43 of my soldiers. You are a war criminal and a monster." Jiho tasted blood. He wanted to laugh. War criminal. They had bombed human colonies. They had killed millions of innocent people. And she called him the monster. "I want him executed," Ara said. She released his face and stepped back. "Now, here, let him die on his knees like the animal he is." Taman bowed. "As you command, Your Highness." Two guards activated their weapons. The energy blades hummed to life, glowing with deadly light. They moved toward Jiho from both sides. This was it then. This was how he would die. Not in battle, not defending Earth, but on his knees in an alien palace. Jiho closed his eyes. He thought of home. He thought of the blue sky over the mountains. He thought of his sister who had died when the Valdari first attacked. Then he felt something grab his leg. Small hands clutched the fabric of his pants. Tiny fingers held on tight. Jiho's eyes snapped open. "No," he whispered. Nari stood behind him. The little girl pressed herself against his back. Her face was buried against his shoulder. She was shaking. The entire throne room went silent. The guards stopped. Their weapons remained raised, but they did not move. Everyone stared at the small human child who had appeared from nowhere. Era's expression changed. The hatred flickered. Confusion replaced it. She looked at Nari like the child was some kind of puzzle she could not solve. "What is this?" Ara asked. Her voice was softer now. Uncertain. Jiho's heart hammered. How had Nari gotten here? She was supposed to be on his ship. She was supposed to be safe. The guards must have brought her when they dragged him off the vessel. She must have hidden. She must have followed him. "Please," Jiho said. The word came out rough. "She's just a child. She has nothing to do with this." Taman moved closer. He studied Nari with cold eyes. "Another human, your offspring?" "No," Jiho said quickly. "She's not mine. She's a refugee. I found her after your people destroyed Colony 47. Era flinched. Just barely. Just enough for Jiho to notice. She stared at Nari. The little girl peeked out from behind Jiho's shoulder. Her dark eyes were huge and wet with tears. "You brought a child to war?" Ara asked. "I had nowhere else to take her," Jiho said. His voice was thick. "Everyone she knew is dead. Because of you. Because of your empire." "Lies," Taman said. "Humans do not care for their young. They use them as shields. As weapons. This is another trick." "Look at her," Jiho said. He did not take his eyes off Ara. "Does she look like a weapon? She's terrified. She's 6 years old. Her parents died when your ships turned their home into glass. I found her in the rubble. Alone. Starving. What was I supposed to do? Leave her there?" Era continued to stare. Nari's small hands gripped Jiho's shirt now. The child was crying softly. The sound seemed impossibly loud in the quiet throne room. Something passed over Ara's face. Jiho could not read it. Doubt, maybe, or recognition. She looked at Nari the way someone might look at a mirror, showing them something they did not want to see. Your Highness, Taman said, we should proceed with the execution. The child can be sent to a processing facility. No, Ara said. Taman blinked. Your Highness? I said no. Ara's voice was firm now. She turned to her guards. Take them to the eastern wing. Place them in secured quarters. Post guards outside. No one enters without my permission. The guards exchanged confused looks. Taman stepped forward. Princess, this is highly irregular. The prisoner is dangerous. He should be executed immediately as per your original command. Ara rounded on him. Are you questioning my orders, Commander? Taman's jaw tightened. He bowed his head. No, Your Highness. Good. Ara looked at Jiho again, then at Nari. I want to understand something. I want to know why a warrior would protect a child that is not his blood. Why he would bring her into danger. This makes no sense. She walked closer. Nari whimpered and pressed harder against Jiho's back. Ara stopped a few feet away. She knelt down slowly. Her armor creaked. She was trying to make herself less threatening. It did not work. Nari hid her face completely. What is her name? Ara asked. Nari, Jiho said. Nari. Ara repeated the name carefully. She stood up. Take them to the quarters. Give them food and water. The child needs proper care. Your Highness, I must protest, Taman began. Your protest is noted and dismissed. Ara cut him off. She turned and walked back to her throne. I will decide what to do with them after I have had time to think. Until then, they are under my protection. Anyone who harms them will answer to me personally. The guards moved to obey. They deactivated their weapons. One of them gently pulled Jiho to his feet. The energy chains remained on his wrists, but they loosened them slightly. Nari did not let go of him. As they led Jiho from the throne room, he looked back. Ara sat on her throne again. But she was not looking at him. She was staring at the spot where Nari had been. Her face was troubled, lost in thought. Jiho held Nari close as best he could with his hands bound. The little girl's heart beat like a frightened bird against his chest. It's okay, he whispered to her. I've got you. I won't let anything happen to you. Nari did not speak. She had not spoken since the day he found her, but her small arms wrapped around his neck. She held on like he was the only solid thing in a world that had tried to destroy her. And in that moment, walking through the cold halls of an enemy palace, Jiho made a silent promise. Whatever happened next, he would keep her safe, even if it cost him everything. The quarters were surprisingly comfortable. A large room with soft blue lighting, 2 beds with clean sheets, a bathroom with running water, windows that showed the city below, though they were locked and reinforced. Guards stood outside the door at all times. Jiho sat on one of the beds. Nari was curled up next to him, finally asleep. She had cried herself to exhaustion. Now she breathed slowly, one hand still gripping his sleeve. He did not move. He was afraid of waking her. The door opened. Jiho tensed. Princess Ara walked in alone. She had removed her armor. Now she wore simple clothes, though they were made of fine fabric. She looked younger without the armor, less like a weapon. She studied them in silence. Her eyes lingered on Nari's small form. When did you find her? Ara asked quietly. 3 months ago, Jiho said. He kept his voice low. Colony 47 was supposed to be evacuated, but the warning came late. Some families did not make it out in time. Ara's jaw tightened. I remember that strike. It was deemed necessary. Intelligence reported weapons manufacturing. There were no weapons, Jiho said. Just farms, homes, schools. I arrived 2 days after your ships left. The colony was gone. Nothing but ash and melted metal. I found Nari in the basement of what used to be a community center. She was alone. No food, no water. She had been there for 48 hours. Ara moved to the window. She looked out at the city. Why did you not take her to a human refuge station? The nearest station was 3 weeks away. She was starving, dehydrated, traumatized. She needed help immediately. Jiho adjusted his position carefully, trying not to wake Nari. And after I got her stable, she would not let me leave. She had nightmares, panic attacks. I was the only person she felt safe with. So you kept her on your ship, in a war zone. I kept her alive, Jiho said. There was no anger in his voice, just exhaustion. I tried to find her relatives. Everyone from that colony is dead or missing. I made her as safe as I could. I thought about leaving the war, finding some quiet place, but I had debts, obligations, people depending on me. Ara turned from the window. Your people say we are monsters. They say we kill without reason. But you are a mercenary. You kill for money. I kill to stop you from killing more of us, Jiho said. There is a difference. They stared at each other. The silence stretched. Then Ara looked at Nari again. She has not spoken? Not since I found her. The doctors said it is psychological, trauma. She understands everything. She just cannot speak. Or will not. Ara approached slowly. She knelt beside the bed. She studied Nari's face. The child looked peaceful now. Her dark hair spread across the pillow. I have never seen a human child before, Ara said softly. We are told you are all violent, aggressive, that even your young are dangerous. We are told the same about you, Jiho said. Ara looked up at him. Something flickered in her eyes. For a moment she looked uncertain, vulnerable. Then the mask came back. She stood. I will return tomorrow, she said. We will speak more. She left without another word. The next day, Ara came again. This time she brought food. Real food, not ration packs. Fruit, fresh bread, meat. Nari's eyes went wide when she saw it. She looked at Jiho for permission. He nodded. She ate slowly, carefully, like someone who had known hunger. Ara watched her eat. Tell me about Earth, she said. So Jiho told her. He told her about the mountains where he grew up, the rivers, the forests. He told her about his sister who loved music, about his parents who ran a small farm, about the day the Valdari attacked and took it all away. Ara listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. I was raised in this palace, she said finally. I never knew my father. He died before I was born. My mother is the Empress. She trained me from childhood to be a warrior, a leader. I had tutors, combat instructors, strategic advisors, but I never had anyone who just talked to me, who told me stories. That sounds lonely, Jiho said. It was necessary, Ara said. But her voice lacked conviction. On the third day, Ara brought something different. A box of colored pencils, paper. She set them on the small table. I thought the child might like these, she said. Nari looked at the pencils, then at Ara, then at Jiho. He smiled and nodded. Slowly, Nari approached the table. She picked up a pencil. Blue. She started to draw. Ara and Jiho watched in silence. Nari drew a figure. A tall figure with broad shoulders. She added details carefully. When she was done, she held up the paper. It was Jiho. She had drawn him with a smile. Above his head, she had drawn a yellow circle, a sun, maybe, or a halo. That is very good, Ara said gently. Nari looked at her. Really looked at her. Then she picked up another pencil. Red. She started a new drawing. This one took longer. She worked with intense concentration, her small tongue poking out slightly. When she finished, she held up the second drawing. It showed 3 figures. Jiho on the left, Nari in the middle, holding both their hands. And on the right, taller and slender, was Ara. In the drawing, all 3 of them were smiling. Ara's breath caught. She stared at the picture. Her hand trembled slightly as she reached out. Nari handed it to her. I do not understand, Ara said. Her voice was barely a whisper. Why would she draw me? I ordered your death. My people destroyed her home. She is a child, Jiho said. Children see the world differently than we do. They look for the good in people, even when it is hard to find. Ara held the drawing like it was made of glass. What if there is no good to find? There is always good, Jiho said. You stopped the execution. You gave us shelter, food. You brought her colored pencils. Those are not the actions of a monster. Ara looked at him. Her violet eyes were wet. You do not know what I have done. The orders I have given, the battles I have won, the lives I have taken. I know what you are doing now, Jiho said. That matters too. Before Ara could respond, the door burst open. Commander Taman strode in. His face was hard with anger. Your Highness, we need to speak. Now. In private. Ara carefully placed Nari's drawing on the table. She stood. I will return, she told Jiho. She followed Taman out. Through the open door, Jiho could hear their voices rising in argument. The door closed. The guards remained outside. Nari came back to Jiho's side. She climbed onto his lap. She pointed to the door where Ara had left. Then she pointed to her drawing. Then to her own chest over her heart. Jiho understood. Nari saw something in Ara. Something good. Something worth saving. I hope you are right, Jiho whispered to her. I really hope you are right. That night, Jiho could not sleep. He lay awake thinking about Ara's face when she looked at Nari's drawing. He thought about the loneliness in her voice when she spoke of her childhood. The Valdari were supposed to be the enemy. Cold. Cruel. Inhuman. But Ara seemed less like a monster and more like someone who had been turned into a weapon. Someone who had never been given a choice. Beside him, Nari stirred in her sleep. She reached out and her small hand found his. She held on tight. Whatever happened next, Jiho knew things had changed. Something had shifted in this palace, in this war, and it had started with a frightened child hiding behind him, and a princess who chose to see her as something other than the enemy. Ara could not stop thinking about the drawing. She kept it in her private chambers, hidden in a drawer. At night, she would take it out and stare at it. The simple picture of three people holding hands. Smiling. She had never drawn anything as a child. She had never played. Her mother said such things were weakness. A ruler needed strength, not childish fantasies. But looking at Nari's drawing made something ache in her chest. A feeling she did not have words for. Commander Taman was not happy with her decision to spare the humans. He made that clear during their private meetings. Other military leaders were starting to question her judgment. Whispers spread through the palace. The princess had gone soft. The princess was showing mercy to the enemy. Ara knew she should care about these whispers. She should care about her reputation. But when she visited the human quarters and saw Nari's small face light up, none of the whispers seemed to matter. After a week, Ara made a decision. She granted Jiho limited freedom to move within certain areas of the palace. He would wear a tracking device. Guards would accompany him at a distance. But Nari needed more than just one room. She needed space to explore, to play, to heal. The military council was outraged. Taman argued for hours, but Ara held firm. She was the crown princess. Her word was law. The change was good for Nari. The little girl discovered the palace gardens. She would run through the flowering plants, touching the petals carefully. Jiho walked beside her, always watchful. Ara often watched them from a distance. She noticed how gentle Jiho was with the child, how patient. Nari still did not speak, but she communicated in other ways. Tugs on Jiho's sleeve, pointed fingers, wide smiles, and Jiho always understood. He would kneel to her level. Listen to her silent words. Respond, as if she had spoken aloud. One afternoon, Ara joined them in the gardens. Nari was examining a blue flower. She picked it carefully and brought it to Ara. She held it up, offering it. Ara's throat tightened. She took the flower. Thank you, Nari. Nari smiled. Then she went back to exploring. She is warming to you, Jiho said. I do not deserve her warmth, Ara replied. My people killed her parents. You are not your people, Jiho said. You are just you. Ara looked at him. Is it really that simple for humans? To separate the individual from the group? No, Jiho admitted. It is not simple at all, but it is necessary. Otherwise, we just keep hating each other forever. That night, alone in her chambers, Ara made another decision. She accessed the military archives, classified files, records of strikes and battles. She told herself she just wanted to understand the war better, to see the full picture. But really, she was looking for something specific. Colony 47. She found the file, read through the mission briefing. The target was listed as a weapons facility. Intelligence reports suggested manufacturing of illegal arms. The strike was authorized by High Command. Ara dug deeper. She accessed the intelligence reports directly. What she found made her blood run cold. The original reports were different. They clearly stated Colony 47 was agricultural, no military presence, no weapons. But someone had altered the reports, changed the classification, made it seem like a legitimate target. And the authorization signature belonged to her mother, the Empress. Ara's hands shook as she read further. She found more files, more colonies, more falsified reports. The pattern was clear. The Valdari Empire had been targeting civilian populations deliberately, creating false justifications, calling it defensive action when it was murder. She found files on human refugees, thousands of them, captured after attacks. The files said they were sent to processing facilities, but Ara found references to research programs, experiments. Her stomach turned. The humans were not lying about Valdari cruelty. They were not exaggerating. If anything, they did not know the full truth of how dark it went. Ara closed the files. She sat in silence. Her whole world had shifted. Everything she believed about the war, about her empire, about her purpose, it was built on lies. A chime at her door. She quickly cleared her screen. Enter. Taman walked in. His expression was grim. Your Highness, I need to inform you of a situation. The Empress has learned about your arrangements with the human prisoners. Ara's heart sank. What did she say? She is returning to the palace. She will arrive in 3 days. She has demanded a full report on your actions. Taman paused. There are rumors she plans to override your authority, execute the humans herself. She cannot do that. I am the crown princess. She is the Empress, Taman said quietly. She outranks you. Your Highness, I must speak plainly. Your career is in danger. Your position as heir is in danger. Because of a human soldier and a child. Is this worth it? Ara thought of Nari's smile. The drawing hidden in her drawer. The way Jiho protected the girl with such fierce dedication. Yes, she said. It is worth it. Taman looked surprised. Your Highness, that will be all, Commander. You are dismissed. Taman bowed stiffly and left. Ara spent the next hour thinking, planning. She could not let her mother execute Jiho and Nari. But how could she stop an Empress? She had 3 days to figure it out. The next morning, Ara went to the human quarters early. Jiho was teaching Nari to tie her shoes. It was such a simple domestic scene. It made Ara's chest ache again. We need to talk, Ara said. Alone. Jiho looked at Nari. The girl seemed to understand. She went to the corner and started drawing with her colored pencils, far enough away not to hear clearly. What is wrong? Jiho asked. My mother is coming, the Empress. She knows about you and Nari. She will order your deaths. Ara spoke quickly, quietly. I cannot stop her directly. She has the authority. Then let us go, Jiho said. Help us escape, before she arrives. Security is too tight. You would never make it off planet. The tracking device I gave you would alert every guard. Ara clenched her fists. I did not think this through. I thought I had more time. I thought I could change her mind somehow. Jiho studied her face. You have been researching the war, I can tell. You found something. I found everything, Ara said. Her voice cracked. The colonies, the lies, the experiments. My people are not defending themselves. We are the aggressors. We have been from the start. I know this is hard to accept, Jiho said gently. Hard? Ara laughed bitterly. My entire life has been dedicated to this empire, to serving my mother, to becoming the perfect heir. And it was all for an evil cause. I have killed for lies. I have given orders that murdered innocents. She felt tears on her face. She had not cried since she was very young. Her mother had beaten that weakness out of her. A small hand touched her arm. Ara looked down. Nari stood beside her. The little girl held up a tissue. She must have gotten it from the bathroom. Her dark eyes were full of concern. Ara took the tissue. She wiped her eyes. Thank you, Nari. Nari did something unexpected. She hugged Ara's leg. Just held on tight. The same way she had held onto Jiho in the throne room. And something inside Ara broke. She knelt down and wrapped her arms around the child. She held Nari close and let herself cry. All the pain, all the guilt, all the years of being turned into a weapon when she should have been allowed to be a person. Jiho knelt beside them. He put his hand on Ara's shoulder. It is okay, he said. It is okay to feel this, to be angry and hurt and lost. That is what makes you human. I am not human, Ara said through her tears. You are close enough, Jiho said softly. Humanity is not about species. It is about choice, and you are choosing to care, to protect, to question the evil you were taught. That takes more courage than any battle. Nari pulled back from the hug. She looked at Ara seriously. Then she did something that shocked them both. She spoke. Don't cry, Nari said. Her voice was small and rusty from disuse, but clear, real. We fix it, together. Ara stared at her. You spoke. Nari, you spoke. Nari nodded. She looked at Jiho. We help her. She helped us. Jiho's eyes were wet now, too. He pulled both Nari and Ara into a hug. The three of them knelt there on the floor, holding each other. And Ara made her decision. She would not let her mother destroy these two. She would protect them, whatever the cost. The attack came in the middle of the night. Jiho woke to the sound of weapons fire in the hallway. He was on his feet instantly. Nari sat up in her bed, eyes wide with fear. Under the bed, Jiho ordered. Now, do not come out no matter what you hear. Nari scrambled under the bed. Jiho grabbed the only weapon he could find, a metal chair. It was not much, but it was better than nothing. The door exploded inward. 3 Valdari soldiers rushed in. Their armor was black instead of the usual palace guard colors. Their weapons were raised. The human dies now, one of them snarled. Orders from high command. Jiho swung the chair. It connected with the first soldier's helmet. The Valdari stumbled back. Jiho used the moment to grab the soldier's weapon. He fired twice. 2 soldiers dropped. The third soldier charged. They grappled. Jiho was strong for a human, but Valdari were stronger. The soldier slammed him against the wall. His vision went white with pain. Then the soldier collapsed. Princess Ara stood behind him, holding an energy blade. She was breathing hard. She wore sleeping clothes, not armor. Blood spattered her face. Are you hurt? She asked Jiho. I will live. Nari, I am here. Nari crawled out from under the bed. She ran to Jiho. More weapons fire sounded in the distance. Shouting, explosions. What is happening? Jiho asked. Coup attempt, Ara said. Military hardliners. They think I have betrayed the Empire by showing you mercy. They are trying to kill me and take control. She checked the hallway. We need to move. This room is not safe. Where do we go? There is a secure bunker beneath the palace. If we can reach it. Ara stopped. Her eyes went wide. No. They will expect that. They will have it covered. Then where? Jiho picked up Nari. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Ara thought quickly. The old archives, lower levels, no one goes there anymore. We can hide until loyal forces regain control. They ran. The palace had become a war zone. Ara led them through back corridors and servant passages. They saw bodies. Guards loyal to the princess, killed by the rebels. Twice they had to hide while patrol groups passed. Nari stayed completely silent. She had spoken once, but now fear had stolen her voice again. She kept her face pressed against Jiho's shoulder. They reached a narrow stairway that descended into darkness. Ara activated a light panel. They climbed down, deeper into the palace's foundation. The air grew colder. The walls were old stone, not the modern materials of the upper levels. At the bottom, they found a heavy door. Ara entered an access code. The door opened with a groan. Inside was a vast room filled with shelves, ancient data crystals, paper records, the history of the Empire, forgotten and gathering dust. Ara sealed the door behind them. We should be safe here for now. Jiho set Nari down. The girl immediately grabbed his hand. She looked around nervously at the shadows. How long do we wait? Jiho asked. Until morning. Commander Taman is loyal to me. He will organize a counterattack. We just need to survive until... An explosion shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. That was close, Jiho said. Ara's communication device beeped. She activated it. Taman's face appeared, holographic and crackling with interference. Your Highness, where are you? Somewhere safe. What is the situation? Bad. The rebels have taken the throne room and most of the palace. They are executing anyone loyal to you. Your mother... He hesitated. The Empress has sided with them. She is using this as an excuse to remove you from succession. Ara's face went pale. My own mother is trying to kill me? She has declared you a traitor. She says you have been corrupted by human influence. She has ordered your immediate execution. Taman looked around, checking his surroundings. I am gathering forces, but we are outnumbered. Your Highness, you need to get off planet, now, while there is still time. How? They control the spaceports. There is a ship, your personal vessel in the private hangar. I can create a distraction, get you there, but you must leave immediately. Ara looked at Jiho, then at Nari. The little girl stared back at her with frightened eyes. If I leave, I am admitting defeat. I am abandoning my people, everyone who stayed loyal to me. If you stay, you die, Taman said bluntly. And so do the humans. Is that what you want? Ara closed her eyes. Opened them. No, send me the route to the hangar. We will go now. There is something else. Taman's expression darkened. I accessed the archives as you asked. The hidden files. I found what they are doing with human prisoners. The experiments. The genetic research. Your Highness, it is worse than you know. They are trying to weaponize human biology. What do you mean? I am sending you the files now. Take them with you. The galaxy needs to see this. Someone needs to expose what the Empire is doing. He looked directly at her. You were raised to be the perfect princess, but maybe it is time to be something else. Something better. The transmission cut off. Ara's device beeped as files transferred. We need to move, she said. They left the archives. Ara led them through tunnels that ran beneath the palace. Service corridors for maintenance. Forgotten passages from older sections. Nari walked between them, holding both their hands. As they moved, Ara accessed the files on her device. Her face grew darker with each screen. Jiho saw images flash by. Human prisoners, laboratory equipment, things he did not want to understand. What are they doing? He asked. Trying to find human weaknesses. Ways to make diseases that only kill humans. Ways to control human minds. Ara's voice shook. They have been doing this for years, before the war even started. This was planned. We were always going to attack your people. The Empire just needed an excuse. They reached another stairway. This one led upward. Ara checked her map. The hangar is 2 levels above us. There will be guards. How many? Unknown. We will have to fight through. Jiho checked his stolen weapon. Low charge. Maybe enough for a few shots. I will go first. You protect Nari. No, Nari said. Both adults looked at her. The girl pointed to herself, then to Ara, then to Jiho. Together, we stay together. Ara knelt down. Nari, this will be dangerous. Very dangerous. I know, Nari said softly. But we are family now. Family stays together. Jiho felt his throat tighten. This small child had lost everything, had every reason to hate the Valdari. But she called Ara family. Ara seemed equally moved. She touched Nari's cheek gently. You are braver than any soldier I have ever known. They climbed the stairs. At the top, they found the hangar level. Just as Ara predicted, guards were everywhere. 6 of them, blocking the path to the hangar entrance. I have an idea, Ara said. She stepped into the open. I am Crown Princess Ara. I order you to stand down. The guards turned. For a moment, they hesitated. Then their leader shook his head. You are no longer princess. You are a traitor. Surrender now. I do not think so, Ara said. That was when the wall exploded. Smoke filled the corridor. Jiho heard weapons fire. Human weapons. Then figures emerged from the smoke, soldiers in mismatched armor. Leading them was a tall man with a scarred face. Hyun, Jiho breathed. His second-in-command grinned. Did you really think we would leave you here to die? We have been tracking your signal for days. Took us a while to break through palace security. Hyun's team engaged the Valdari guards. The fight was brutal but quick. Humans were outnumbered in the war, but human soldiers learned to fight dirty, to fight smart. When the guards were down, Hyun approached Jiho. He stopped when he saw Ara. That is a Valdari princess, Hyun said flatly. Why are we not shooting her? She saved us, Jiho said. Multiple times. And she has information the Alliance needs. Evidence of war crimes. Hyun looked skeptical. But then Nari stepped forward. She took Ara's hand. She is good, Nari said to Hyun. Please do not hurt her. Hyun's expression softened. The kid spoke. I thought she could not speak. She found her voice, Jiho said. An alarm blared. More guards would be coming soon. Hyun made a decision. Fine, but if she betrays us, I am spacing her. Let us move. They ran for the hangar. Ara used her codes to open the door. Inside, a sleek Valdari vessel waited. Fast, heavily armed. As they boarded, an explosion rocked the hangar. Rebel forces had found them. Energy bolts screamed past. Hyun's team returned fire, covering their escape. The ship's engines roared to life. Ara took the pilot seat. She knew these controls better than anyone. Jiho strapped Nari into a seat, then took the co-pilot position. The hangar doors were closing. Ara pushed the engines to full power. They shot forward, barely making it through the gap. The ship burst into the night sky. Below them, the palace burned. Ara looked back once. Her home. Her life. Everything she had known, all of it going up in flames. Where do we go? She asked quietly. Neutral space, Jiho said. There is a station where humans and Valdari meet for trade. We take the evidence there. We make sure everyone sees it. Ara nodded. She set the course. In the back, Nari had fallen asleep, exhausted by fear and adrenaline. Hyun stood guard, still not trusting Ara completely. But as they left the planet behind, something had changed. A human soldier, a Valdari princess, and a traumatized child had become something more than enemies. They had become what the galaxy needed most. They had become hope. 6 months later, everything had changed. The neutral station hung in space between human and Valdari territory. It was called Haven, and it lived up to its name. Here, both species could meet without fear. Trade, talk, try to build something other than war. Jiho stood at the observation window, watching ships come and go. Some were human vessels, others were Valdari. A year ago, this would have been impossible. Now it was just another day. Dad, look what I made. Jiho turned. Nari ran up to him, holding a paper sculpture. She had gotten very good at folding paper into shapes. This one was a bird with spread wings. That is beautiful, Jiho said. He knelt down to her level. Is it for your room? No, it is for Ara. She said she never had toys when she was little, so I am making her some. Jiho smiled. Nari called him Dad now. It had happened naturally over the months. One day she just said it, and it felt right. He had officially filed the adoption papers last week. She was his daughter in every way that mattered. Where is Ara now? Jiho asked. In the big meeting room, with all the serious people. Nari made a face. They talk for hours. It looks boring. It was boring. Jiho knew because he had sat through many of those meetings. Diplomats from both sides, arguing about peace terms, trade agreements, prisoner exchanges. The war was not over, but these talks were the first real step toward ending it. And it had all started because Ara released the files. The evidence of Valdari war crimes had spread across the galaxy like fire. At first, the Valdari Empire denied it, called it propaganda. But Ara had provided too much proof. Documents, video, testimony from Valdari soldiers who defected with her. The truth could not be hidden. Many Valdari were outraged. Not at the crimes, but at Ara for exposing them. She was labeled the worst kind of traitor. There were bounties on her head, assassination attempts. 3 times in 6 months, someone had tried to kill her. 3 times, she survived. But some Valdari reacted differently. They were horrified by what their empire had done. They began to question, to resist. A rebellion formed inside Valdari space, not large yet, but growing, led by Commander Taman, who had survived the palace coup and now fought to reform the empire from within. Ara had become the face of that rebellion. The princess who chose truth over power, who chose compassion over cruelty. She gave speeches, shared her story, explained how meeting Nari had changed everything, how one small human child had shown her what her people had become. And slowly, the galaxy began to listen. Come on, Jiho said to Nari. Let us go, give Ara her present. They walked through the station. It was a good place. Jiho had used his military contacts to secure space here. He ran a school now, a place for war orphans, both human and Valdari. Children who had lost everything, just like Nari had. They came here to heal, to learn, to have a childhood they deserved. Hyun ran security for the station. He still did not fully trust Valdari, but he protected the children without question. He had a soft spot for kids. Always had. They reached the conference room. Through the window, Jiho saw Ara sitting at a large table. She looked tired. The weight of 2 worlds rested on her shoulders. But when she saw Nari waving through the glass, she smiled. She excused herself and came outside. I have something for you, Nari said. She held up the paper bird. Ara took it carefully. She studied the delicate folds. This is wonderful, Nari. Thank you. You look sad, Nari said. Did the meeting go bad? Not bad, just difficult. Ara sighed. Some humans do not want peace. They have lost too much. They want revenge, I understand that. But revenge will not end this war. Then what will? Nari asked. Ara looked at Jiho, then back at Nari. People like you. People who choose to love instead of hate, even when hate would be easier. A door opened down the hall. A human diplomat emerged. She looked frustrated. Princess Ara, we need you back inside. The Valdari delegation is refusing the proposed terms. Ara nodded. She handed the paper bird to Jiho. Keep this safe for me? Always, Jiho said. Ara knelt down and hugged Nari. I will see you tonight. We are still having dinner together, yes? Yes, I am making noodles. Dad is teaching me. Ara laughed. I look forward to it. She stood. Try not to burn down the kitchen this time. She returned to the meeting. Nari and Jiho walked back toward their quarters. They passed the school. Through the windows, Jiho could see children playing. human and Valdari together, learning each other's languages, sharing toys, being kids. It gave him hope. That evening, they cooked dinner in the small kitchen attached to their living space. Era arrived exhausted but smiling. She had changed out of her formal clothes into something comfortable. She looked more like a regular person and less like a princess. They ate together. Nari chattered about her day, about the drawing class, about her friend Minho who could juggle, about the funny thing their teacher said. Ara listened with complete attention. She asked questions, laughed at the right moments. She had gotten good at this. At being part of a family. After dinner, Nari yawned. Bedtime. I will tuck you in, Ara offered. While they were in Nari's room, Jiho cleaned up the kitchen. He heard Ara reading a story. Her voice was soft and gentle, so different from the voice that had ordered his execution months ago. Ara emerged 20 minutes later. She fell asleep halfway through. She does that, Jiho said. But she likes it when you read to her anyway. They sat together in the small living area. Comfortable silence. The talks are not going well, Ara said finally. My people want too much. Your people trust too little. We are stuck. It will take time, Jiho said. Wars do not end quickly. I know. I just wish I could do more. Ara looked at her hands. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. By leaving, by speaking out. Maybe I could have done more from inside the Empire. You would be dead if you stayed, Jiho said. Your mother made that clear. Yes. But at least I would have died as a Valdari. Now I am not human, but I am not Valdari either. I am something in between. Something that neither side fully trusts. Jiho thought about his next words carefully. Nari asked me something last week. She wanted to know if you were going to stay with us. Forever. Era looked up. What did you tell her? I said that was up to you, that you had important work to do, that you might need to go somewhere else. He paused. But she said she hoped you would stay. She said we are a family, the three of us. Ara's eyes grew wet. I do not deserve to be part of your family, after everything my people did. You are not your people, Jiho interrupted. You are you, and you chose to do the right thing even when it cost you everything. That is what matters. Is it enough? Ara asked quietly. Ask Nari, Jiho said. She thinks so, and that child has the best judgment of anyone I know. Era wiped her eyes. She smiled. She does, doesn't she? They sat in silence for a while longer. Outside the window, stars shone cold and distant. But inside this small space, there was warmth. 2 weeks later, there was a breakthrough in the peace talks. Not a full treaty, but an agreement. A ceasefire in 3 border systems. Prisoner exchanges. Opening of communication channels. It was not much, but it was a start. Ara addressed both delegations. She spoke about her journey, about meeting Jiho and Nari, about learning that the enemy was just people too, scared, hurting, wanting the same things everyone wanted, safety, peace, a future. She told them about Nari's drawing, the one with 3 figures holding hands. This child lost everything to this war, Ara said. Her home, her parents, her voice, for a time. She had every reason to hate, but instead, she chose to include me in her picture of family, of Aldari, the enemy. She paused, letting the words sink in. If a 6-year-old can find forgiveness, can we not try to do the same? If a child can see past species and uniform to the person beneath, why can we not? The room was silent. Then, slowly, the human delegation leader stood. She bowed her head to Ara. The child is wise. We will try. The Valdari delegation was slower to respond, but eventually they agreed. They would try too. It was not a perfect ending. The war continued in many places. People still died. Trust was still fragile. But something had changed. A crack had formed in the wall of hatred, and through that crack, light was beginning to shine. That night, Jiho, Ara, and Nari celebrated with a special dinner. Nari had made another drawing. This one showed even more figures. Children from the school. Yun. Commander Timon, who Nari had met over video calls. All of them holding hands. All of them smiling. At the bottom, in Nari's careful handwriting, were 3 words. We are family. Ara hung the drawing on the wall, in the center of their home, where everyone could see it. Do you think peace is really possible? Ara asked Jiho later, after Nari had gone to bed. I do not know, Jiho admitted, but I know this. We have to try, for her, for all the children. They deserve a galaxy without war. Yes, Ara agreed. They do. Outside, ships continued to arrive at Haven Station. More families, more refugees, more people seeking a better way. And in a small apartment, a human soldier, a Valdari princess, and a young girl who had found her voice created something the galaxy desperately needed. They created hope. They created family. They created the future. Not through grand battles or sweeping declarations, but through small acts of kindness, through choosing understanding over hate, through protecting those who could not protect themselves. Jiho looked at Nari's drawing on the wall, at the simple picture that had started everything. 3 people holding hands. It had been enough to change a princess's heart, to start a rebellion, to crack open the possibility of peace. If something so small could do all that, what else was possible? Jiho did not have all the answers. But watching Ara and Nari laugh together in the kitchen, planning tomorrow's breakfast, he thought maybe he did not need all the answers. Maybe it was enough to take it one day at a time. One small act of kindness at a time. One moment of choosing love over fear. That was how wars truly ended. Not with treaties signed by leaders, but with people deciding to see each other as people. And if a 6-year-old child could lead the way, then anyone could follow. Outside the window, a new dawn was breaking over Haven Station. Light spilled across the deck, warm and golden. A new day, a new chance, a new beginning, for all of them.